Ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome our next speaker, Mr. Ravi Deshpande.
Inspiring morning listening to these brilliant speeches and amazing seminar, which is a few new things. At the same time, it's been a bit frightening for me, waiting for my turn to speak. If you ask me, I would rather be in a turbulent flight than stand before you and have this pressure of making sense. As a kid, grow young is my topic, and it'll unfold automatically in terms of what I have to say here. As a kid, you always want to grow up. You're always in a hurry to get older. You want to be an adult quickly, do all the things that adults do, and when you start to get older, the exact opposite happens. You start to think it would be nice to be younger. It's strange how youth is desirable, especially when you know it's fleeting away. Its appeal lies in the fact that it's fleeting. Before you know it, we will be old, decrepit, dead. Frightening thought. And that's precisely why youth is dear to us. At the same time, there are people in this world who don't age ever. Interestingly, it's not just people, but there are some places, there are some things, there are some brands that don't age ever. I always wondered why. Have you wondered why? What keeps them young? Why are we so drawn towards them? What is it that makes them interesting and even iconic sometimes? How do they do that? It would be interesting to search for these answers this afternoon. Let's just try and take a quick journey through this phenomena called agelessness or grow young. Let's start with the example of an amazing city. You would automatically know what city I'm talking about. We're talking about Paris. It's over 2,000 years old, yet it feels like a young city. It embodies agelessness. Over the years, the idea of romance got associated with Paris. Its bohemian, free-spirited people give Paris an air of romance. On the one hand, its old architecture, museums, and cinemas make it kind of sad and beautiful. On the other hand, its contemporary fashion and designer scene makes it young and vibrant. This juxtaposition of classical and contemporary makes Paris timeless and forever young. See another visual. As a city, it will appeal to people of all generations over the next many centuries. And I just feel fascinated by the city that managed to stay young and attractive for just about every generation forever. Fascinating, isn't it? Let's move on to another example. This time it's a character. You would all again know the character. Take a look. James Bond. As you can see, over the years the actor had changed, but the character of James Bond remained the same and survived. James Bond will never be old. Not just because he's a fictional character, but because he represents the most desired traits in men. Moving between beautiful women with exotic names such as Kissy, Honey, Plenty, Rosie, Tilly, Holly, he's every man's envy. He's impossible to kill. He's always winning, moving slowly with feline grace. A dry sense of humor even as he's inches away from death. Now tell me, which man wouldn't be like to be him? James Bond will always be young and alive because the world won't let him die. Now let me come to an unforgettable woman. You would know her. Marilyn Monroe. She's so unforgettable that she continues to make her presence felt even after 50 years of her death. Marilyn Monroe will always be young and beautiful. Her iconic beauty was a much discussed subject. Then one day, suddenly at the age of 36, when she was still very beautiful, she died. We never got to see her as an aging actress. Her early death immortalized her. She will always remain young in our minds. If you take a look at this picture, This is the recent picture of unveiling of a statue in Chicago. It's called Forever Marilyn, and people are going crazy about it, even after so many years. She's iconic, and she will always remain young. Now let's move on to a living legend, a man who's as serious as he's flamboyant. Richard Branson. Richard Branson will always be young for his daring ideas, his courage to break boundaries, and his maverick strategies. He seems to believe in living his life to the fullest. Whether he is starting a space tourism company, or a global anti-nuclear campaign, or the fastest crossing of the English Channel in an amphibious vehicle, or appearing in TV shows such as Baywatch or Friends. His heart is young, and so are his business ideas. I don't see Richard Branson getting older ever. He will always remain young. Now let's meet a rebel, an icon. Someone I actually had a chance to listen to from somewhere in the 107th row. Take a look. Sir Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger has been iconic. Being anti-establishment and being loved for it, Mick Jagger will always be young and impossible to emulate. Provocative song lyrics, drug-related arrests, countless romantic connections, and he gets knighted for it. Tell me, who wouldn't want that? Let's move on to another man who's possibly younger than everyone present in this room. You might not know him because he's a bit of an obscure character, Manuel de Oliveira. He's a Portuguese filmmaker, and this is what he has to say about Hollywood at the age of 103. Yeah, Hollywood needs to undergo a second youth. At 103, Manuel has made 57 films and currently has one under production. Last year, his movie, The Strange Case of Angelica, was premiered at Cannes. It was much talked about. This movie was conceived in 1946, scripted in 1952, and the director waited for 64 years to finally make it in 2010. I've got a small clip from his movie which will come up. What I really have to say about this guy is his eccentric vision defies formats, category, and most importantly, his age. Take a look at this very interesting clip of Strange Case of Angelica, was premiered at Cannes.
O senhor é o fotógrafo, não é? Foi a Angélica, sabe? Uma desgraça.
Que linda. Que linda que ela está.
Parece mesmo um anjo do céu.
Nem parece morta. Não acha? De ser fotógrafo.
Esta estranha realidade, a alucinação. Porque este encantamento será um penetrar no espaço do absoluto de que tanto ouvi falar. Será loucura minha.
Chamem uma louca!
Pobre Angélica.
Angélica.
Angélica. Angélica?
Angélica?
Angélica! Vá com Deus! E eu vou-me à vida.
Now, does this look like a movie made by a centenarian? A filmmaker, he's a friend of mine from our industry, went to see him in Portugal, and this gentleman made him wait for 2 hours. Guess what he was busy with? He was busy cycling, and therefore he had to wait for 2 hours. As you can see, creative people do stay young if they keep their creativity alive. Now, some of the most ageless ideas in the world are ideas that have always been around. Sometimes you don't even realize that they've been around. You wonder who invented them or if they came about as humans evolved. For example, the weapon of non-violence. Surely violence works. It's working all around us in the form of wars, bombs, blasts, terrorism. Violence often works faster, as you would know, but not necessarily better. Non-violence, on the other hand, is an idea that will never go out of style. It's completely unexpected, almost lateral retaliation to violence. No matter how much progress we make in creating the latest weapons of mass destruction, the most evolved, the most modern answer to solving conflicts will be non-violence. It's an idea that's forever young because it has worked across centuries and worked across continents. This morning we saw the case of Rwanda. I mean, after this amazing killing, and it's something that you can't even count the number of people that have finished their lives. There comes in peace, and then the country prospers. Look at the case of Gandhiji's Quit India movement. As you would know, that the power of non-violence got us freedom, or Mandela's fight against apartheid, or the recent Egyptian revolution, or Mr. Anwar Hazare's fight against corrupt governance. In fact, non-violence even helps you stay young. On a more lighter note, ask all the young actresses and models that are turning vegetarian. Taking the conversation further on ideas that make or things or people younger, it's not any different in the world of brands. Being from advertising business, I can't leave this stage without speaking about brands. So here we're going to talk a little bit about brands. There are brands that have been around for a while but continue to appear fresh, and they're desired by many. For instance, brands such as Ferrari, Louis Vuitton, Diesel, Apple, etc. And take for instance Ferrari. The company was founded in 1929, but makes cars even now, and the image of Ferrari, the attraction towards Ferrari continues to remain same in everyone's mind, and the young image continues to remain after so many years. Or Louis Vuitton. If you walk into the Louis Vuitton shops around the world, you will see the amount of young people craving for those wonderful designer bags, and the brand continues to be young. Same is with Diesel or Apple. These brands are getting older in terms of their existence, but continue to appear fresh, and they are wanted by many for their unique appeal. For instance, let's talk about Apple a little bit more. Apple products are a joy. It creates the feeling of belonging to a privileged community if you own one. And the constant innovation in design and function keeps the brand young. Somehow, Apple knows what we all waiting for, and it delivers it to us every time. Initially, it served the community of design and designers and art geeks. Apple was not for everyone. But everyone wants that not for everyone. And with the launch of iPod, Apple kind of became brand for everyone. The iPod has changed the way we consume music, and the iPhone has changed the way we communicate. Apple grows young by renewing itself at a speed you and I can't keep it with. Finally, I'd like to stress upon a point here, that the agelessness phenomena is not just applicable to things or people or brands, it's applicable to all of us. That is provided you wish to be desired, you wish to be wanted by the people who surround you, you wish to be attractive. It's not just that. You could be owning your own brand, you could be working for a company, or you could be a brand yourself, or you are engaged with organizations where those organizations have to stay relevant in the minds of people who they are talking to. So there is a lot of reason why all of us and everything that's around us should continue to stay young and inspire you to lead ahead in life. Now, how do you do that? I think all we have to do is fuel our passions, renew our motivations, and stay as a curious child. And that's the way to reinvent ourselves in order to stay young and relevant in the fast changing world. That is, if you're up to it. I think it's really the reinvention and a powerful idea being found for yourself or for the companies or organizations that you work for will help you stay young, and you will continue to grow young. Thank you very much.